Hey everyone, One's Bitten here. There's a big tournament in my area this weekend. It's invitational only for the top 10 players based on their performance in tournaments around the southeast region this year. And I didn't make the tournament, but I was going to be helping out as a rules judge, so I showed up the night before to get in a couple games. So the list I'm facing here is a high elf list, which is based on mobility and kind of a monster mash theme. So I'm bringing my Council of Light, and it looks like that. So starting on the left, he's got a couple units of Reavers, a couple Frostheart Phoenixes. So he's got his Battle Standard Bearer, which is a noble on an eagle. The eagle isn't there. He has it, but it wasn't. I think it broke off or something. So when you see that white base, that's an eagle forward. Then he's got a Star Dragon. Man, those things are nasty. Toughness 7, strength 7, 7 wounds. Just tough to work through. His general's on top of there. Let's see. Then he's got a unit of 12 Silverhelms. And in with that unit of Silver Helms, he has a mage, just to level 2 with a scroll, Lore of Life. And he rolled basically Throne of Vines and Regrowth, it's perfect for this list. That's what he wanted for it. So then he has an Eagle, a unit of Shadow Warriors, some more Fast Cav, and then behind that building on the right, he's got a Noble with a Star Lance on a Griffin. So this thing's no joke either, especially against Knights, because Star Lance is +3 strength on the charge, and I believe it's no armor save. With Potion of Foolhardiness, puts him at 4 attacks, rerolling to hit, strength 7 to armor save. So that thing I don't necessarily want against my Demigryphs or my Steam Tank. So on the far right, I brought out Captasis again for the first time in a long time. He's here to protect my war machines and just to make sure the Shadow Warriors didn't come in behind my lines. And not a whole lot for him to do this game. If he can protect them and maybe take out some fast cav, that's all I can hope for. Got some Demigryph Knights. There is no banner there. Steam Tank, Cannon, and Hellblaster with my Master Engineer. Then I've got 2 blocks of Halberdiers, 45 each. My Battle Standard Bearer, brought the Archlector. Then I've got my Council, so level 4 and 2 level 1s. Because I was trying to find points for other stuff, so one of the level 1s has a scroll. Other than that, none of them have anything. And then I've got my Hurricanum, and of course there's a unit of 5 archers as a detachment for the Halberdier unit on the left. So the tournament rules are that hills are infinitely high, so hills and buildings. So my cannon and my steam tank cannot see his Star Dragon. If they could, they would both be pointing that direction. So I won the roll to go first. It looks like that. One thing I'm learning with my steam tank is there's no reason to. I usually roll 2 dice for movement, and there's just really no reason for it. I think I just need to go 1 die forward and keep that thing closer to my lines. Anyway, the big news is the Demigryphs charged his Shadow Warriors. They fled, and he rolled like a 3 or something. So I caught him, and I'm just really in a bad position. I know I could have reformed. But there was no great way to reform anyway, because he's got his Noble with a Star Lance on my right within easy charge range, and it looks like he's behind the building, but he can indeed see them. And then his Silverhelms aren't far away either. So if I take those charges, I'm just going to be wiped out. So I think my best chance there is just to flee and hope that I kind of get lucky with where I end up with the flee movements. High Elf turn 1. So his Star Lance Noble charges my Demigryphs, I flee. His Silverhelms, I think his Eagle charges them next, and they flee. And then at that point, I rolled too high, and they were kind of right in front of my Halberdiers, and his Fast Cav could actually see him, and they pushed him off the board. So his Eagle redirected into my Steam Tank just to hold it up, and his Silverhelms just come marching forward like they're not worried about anything. His Star Dragon's still protected from my cannon because of that hill. It's kind of frustrating. And you'll notice that none of his stuff has wounds. My Hellblaster wasn't in range of anything. My cannon failed against a Phoenix. I think he made his 5 up ward. And then casting banishments. I had to move my Archlector way far forward so I could cast a banishment, knowing it probably won't go through, but I need to get through his Dispel Scroll. So he stopped one of my banishments with dice and stopped the other one with a scroll. That's why it looks the way it does. And then on the far left, his Fast Cav actually charged my Hurricanum. I was really surprised about this because at toughness 5, 5 wounds, I figured we're just going to be locked up there for a while. And I was actually okay with it. My biggest fear is sticking around after this first round of combat. He has spears and bows, so he's strength 4 in the charge. So at toughness 5, he's still wounded on 5s, and plus he has the charge, so he might break me just through combat res. There's Eagle holding up my stank. And on the far right, his noble on the Griffin had a failed charge, just kind of bounced against the building, and his fast cav moved around. So these guys do 2 wounds, which at the time I thought was really bad luck, but the more I think about it, I think that's probably about average. Because again, he's wounded on 5s, and then my, basically at that point I'll have a 6-up armor save. But I stuck, so I was happy enough with that. We go to Empire turn 2. So all the steam tank can do is generate some steam points and grind the Eagle, so I should kill him pretty easily. I needed to get my Arch Lector out where he couldn't be easily charged by anything. So I'm still fairly close to the Star Dragon, so I don't really want to be charged by that, but I couldn't really get away from it. I'm hoping just to use Banishment to weaken or kill that thing. I was in an awkward position with my Halberdiers on the right, so I just reformed them in bus formation in the direction of that arrow. It doesn't look like it because I just didn't take the time right then to move them up, but that's how they are. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. Oh yeah, Captus charged the fast cav. They did a stand and shoot, 5 shots with the stand and shoot reduction, cover, and long range, and then I have a 1-up armor save, and of course I fail it and I take a wound, and then fail the charge at insult injury. So now he's within range of a lot of my stuff where it's going to start getting dangerous for him. The cannon can't see his Arch Lector, but it can still see those Frostheart Phoenixes, and I need to take care of those things as well. So I feel like I can start doing some damage there. The steam tank easily grinds away the Eagle. Then let's see, the Hellblaster opens up on the Silver Helms. I think that there's a wound there on his Spellcaster. I think that's from his magic phase. The Hellblaster with the Master Engineer's help only does 3 wounds. I felt that was, or does 4 wounds. I felt that was not as good as it should have been, but whatever, there's 4 less Silver Helms. And then with double banishments, I only do a single wound to his Lord and a single wound to his Star Dragon. And one reason for that is I made the mistake when I was moving everything that I didn't keep some of my Light Council within 12 inches of the Arch Lector. Just dumb. You can't make mistakes like that. The cannon fails against the Phoenixes. I don't know what my deal is. I don't know if I fail. I think I failed to wound. And then the Hurricaneum's just sticking around with this fast cav over here. So, High Elf turn 2. He moves his fast cav up where you see it here, so daring my Captus to charge him. I'm not sure what he was thinking, because it's an easy charge. He can't stand and shoot. I'm almost certainly going to win, and his Griffin guy can't counter. So not sure he's thinking there. He gets aggressive with his Noble on Griffin, just brings him up. He knows he's going to be vulnerable to shooting, but I guess he just wants him in the game. He couldn't charge his Silver Helms around my Arch Lector to get to my Hellblaster volley gun. So instead what he does, he just marches right up in front of it, just daring me to shoot at him. Because then after that, if he survives with any of them, he's going to be able to just wipe through my war machines and just take all those points and threats off the table. So he uses fast cav to block the steam tank, so I can't plow into the rear of the Silver Helms. So that was a very smart use of fast cav. And then the real backbreaker was that both of his Phoenixes and his Star Dragon made their charge into this unit of Halberdiers. That's just really, really, really bad, because I don't need to shoot his Griffin on the far right yet, because he's so far away. I needed at least one of these to fail, so I had something to shoot at, so I could, take care of it. As it is now, he's going to wipe through that unit very, very quickly. And I think he needed a 9 with the Star Dragon, and the other ones needed a 10. I don't know, whatever it was. I felt that he should have failed at least one of them. If you look on the far left, the fast cav on the last turn did another wound to my Hurricaneum. Like, they don't care that he's toughness 5. They're going to wound him anyway. And another problem I'm having now is I'm really bunched in here. I took my BSB out of my Halberdier unit, so he and I have 3 wizards are all with those archers. And if he breaks through the Halberdiers, I'm sunk. If his Battle Standard Bearer, who's on an eagle, if I don't kill him, he's going to be able to fly over the top and start messing around with that unit. So I feel this game has really, really taken a bad turn with me not being able to take care of at least one of his monsters and all three of them making that charge. So a little bit skeptical about how the DM's going to turn out at this point. And then his fast cav do 2 more wounds to my Hurricanum and kill it. Like, these guys, yeah, they can roll 6s to wound like nobody's business. After combat, yeah, I had a champion who got in a challenge with his general, so his star dragon really didn't do anything. He couldn't thunderstomp, he couldn't do his attacks, so that saved a lot of halberdiers. The frost phoenixes, of course, do plenty of wounds there. And let's see, here we are, Empire turn 3. So first thing I'm doing is I'm getting my characters at the very bottom of the screen out of the Empire detachment and setting them up so his fast cav can't just charge my characters. And the characters are all alone now. They're not a single unit. So I'm trying to protect them that way. I can't really get them out of harm's way yet. I'm leaving my other halberdiers in bus formation. Really, I'm just... I could have charged him into the flank of that Star Dragon, but my Battle Standard Bearer was in there, and I think my opponent, if he was smart, just would have killed my BSB, and I didn't want that to happen. So that's what's going on. I moved my my Archlector up so that I really don't have any great targets, so I want to be able to kill his Battle Standard Bearer and at least get those points off the table. So my captain decides to make the charge against his fast cav. And yeah, I plow into these guys. Those are easy points, but it saved his silver helms. And there's just another shot of me lining up stuff. My target of choice now in the magic phase are banishments on his Battle Standard Bearer. So one thought that occurred to me is, Lore of Light has some great buffs. The problem is, I don't think those buffs are going to matter. I mean, I have battle prayers too. I could reroll the wound. I could do 5 up ward save. But I really felt that I think it just isn't going to matter. I think he's going to blow through those guys. So instead what I did is I put Light of Battle on the halberdiers so they're unbreakable. Not only this round of combat, but on my opponent's next turn. And I felt, you know what, it's going to cost me the unit anyway, but I think they were going to die anyway. And now I don't have to worry about it. It didn't take many dice, and then I could still use double banishments on his Battle Standard Bearer. So if memory serves, my opponent let Light of Battle through, he stopped 1 banishment and could not stop the 2nd banishment. But he doesn't need to stop the 2nd banishment because with 2d6 strength 7 hits, it only does 2 wounds. I was a little bit disappointed. The Hellblaster, though, with the Master Engineer's help, opens up. Now, what you're looking at here used to be a unit of Silver Helms. So this thing opens up, kills 8 Silver Helms. It was absolutely beautiful. It went from being an almost insurmountable threat in my backfield to being nothing. He's welcome to charge his mage in if he wants. I think now he just has to try to hide that mage. Then the cannon. Again, the cannon was very tempting to go against his Battle Standard Bearer, but the problem is that there was a combat in the way, and so I would have had to roll really, really low, and I didn't have the Master Engineer's help. So I figured I'd probably be a wasted shot on his Master Engineer, so I targeted the dude on the Griffin and killed him and the Griffin. So very, very, very happy about that. I don't love how my position is on the left, but I feel like I am starting to pick off a lot of points here and there. Steam Tank, of course, takes care of the fast cav. The Captasis takes care of the fast cav he was in fight with. I just turned around afterwards because he's on Snake Eyes to rally, and I think he'll just take himself off the board. After combat, he crushes the halberdiers, but they're unbreakable. So now what I'm hoping, and I think I'm going to have to be lucky for this to happen, but I would love on his next turn to have 1 halberdier left alive who could be tying up his Star Dragon and a Phoenix or 2 of the Phoenixes or whatever. Light of Battle became my favorite spell in the Lore of Light arsenal. So we got a High Elf turn 3. Yeah, his fast cav charge marchers on the left. His Standard Bearer charges over my guys into a level 1, but he's going to be able to overrun into my level 4. And I was so mad not being able to get that 3rd wound off of him. Oh, I was so mad. His level 2 runs away as fast as he can. He's hiding behind the hill. So my Hellblaster and my cannon cannot target him. And his job is just a 6 dice regrowth to keep his Star Dragon alive. Yeah, there's all that. just looking at close-ups. After the magic phase, by the way, he 6 dices regrowth, which heals his lord and his star dragon completely, heals the wound on himself through the lore attribute, and then his miscast roll was a 7, so it did absolutely nothing. After combat, yeah, the archers get beat, but they stick. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, he easily kills a level 1 and overruns into my level 4. The halberdiers die to a man and then some. And we had a legitimate question about how can you reform afterwards. Like, how do you reform afterwards when you have 3 units real close to each other? And we decided they can reform at the same time, simultaneously, so they can all pivot and do that. And I was comfortable enough with that. I'm not sure the rules really address it. So if anybody knows about that, let me know. So that isn't wonderful. The one thing I have going for me is that at least it's my turn next, and maybe I can shoot something. Maybe. So, Empire turn 4. My Battle Standard Bearer and my lone remaining level 1 march out of line of sight of everything. I don't charge with my halberdiers because I didn't think they were going to be able to do anything anyway. I could have charged his Star Dragon and gotten a challenge with my champion, and he would have had up to 5 combat res. More than likely, he would have had 3, and I would have won by 1. But he would have been high leadership with a reroll. I really didn't see the point. I wanted to instead just shoot at him. So, we have a magic phase with 2 banishments. I'm sorry, we have a magic phase with 1 banishment. We have a Hellblaster volley gun with an engineer that doesn't that could target the Star Dragon with the Lord, and I've got a cannon and a steam tank. And I can't kill the dragon. I think I killed the Lord on top, and I think there's 3 wounds on the dragon. He's got 4 wounds left. He's more alive than dead, and I gave him everything I had, and it just didn't matter. So, yeah, it looks like that. Stupid thing's unkillable. So all 3 monsters charge my halberdiers. Now I can't shoot at them. I really have no targets for my shooting. Which it doesn't matter because now his Battle Standard Bearer is charging my Hellblaster. He only has 1 wound left, but I don't have anything. I'm never going to get to swing at him. And his fast cav come up again to block my steam tank. I think it's a great move because I absolutely would have taken the steam tank into the flank of the Star Dragon, hoping to get lucky on impact hits. I mean, D6 plus 3D3 impact hits, strength 6. Of course, he's toughness 7, so even the steam tank is only wounding on 5s. But with 4 wounds left, it might have worked. But of course, he gets C6 dice as regrowth, heals the Star Dragon completely, and heals a wound on his Battle Standard Bearer. Which, in hindsight, I may be thinking of that wrong because his spellcaster is more than 12 inches away. So I'm not sure. Oh wait, I take that back. Yeah, he had moved. The picture was wrong before. He had moved his spellcaster up to block my steam tank. That's how he's within 12 inches of his guy. Yep, there we go. So Star Dragon is completely healed. And yeah, so his fast cav charged my BSB. My BSB took a wound but stuck, killed a couple of his guys. I think it was a push, to be honest. He kills a bunch of halberdiers. He doesn't have to accept a challenge now because he doesn't have his general on there. And of course, my Hellblaster's dead, and he reforms his Battle Standard Bearer. It's my turn. I decide to go for broke. I charged Captisus and the Archlector into the Star Dragon, just hoping to get lucky on impact hits and other stuff. As it shows now, Captisus is at the back end of the Star Dragon. I had to move him to the front end later for some rules reasons, because as it is now, my Archlector would have to charge the Star Dragon and the Phoenix, and if you can't declare a charge against multiple units unless it's impossible otherwise, and it was possible to put my Captisus at the front of the Star Dragon. So if you notice that difference, that's why. My steam tank plows into his mage. Yeah, there's just another look on that. Captisus is almost certainly going to break. I know that going into it, but I felt it was worth it just for a shot. So after combat, yeah, Captisus breaks. He's actually to the right of this picture. You can see the wound marker on him. The Battle Standard Bearer kills the fast cav and turns to face my opponent's Battle Standard Bearer. His mage is dead, of course, from the steam tank. The impact hits does nothing I think the Star Dragon took a wound from somewhere, and the Halberdiers haven't done a single wound to any monster all game long. Unless, actually, I take that back. I think the Archlector in the impact hits failed. I think the Halberdiers did a single wound to the Star Dragon. So his BSB charges cannon on High Elf 5. He totally crushes the Halberdiers. He kills my Archlector. He did 3 wounds. I have 3 4 board saves. I failed them all. So my War Altar was stubborn on a 5. He broke and ran it down. The only good news is now my Steam Tank has a chance of charging the Star Dragon, but he's got 7 wounds. I have to do 5 wounds to him, which is possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. So everything looks like that. So we go to Empire turn 6, and I say, screw it, let's go for broke. My BSB charges his BSB, knowing that my odds are really slim. The only hope I have is for my opponent to whiff and me to break him through combat res because I have the charge, but I know that's very unlikely. Captus rallies. Steam Tank hits the Star Dragon. I'm going to have D6 plus 3D3 impact hits, needing 5s to wound. Can I do it? This I know is suicide, by the way, but I just didn't care. Why not? And yeah, I charge in. He slaps me around and reforms, which is fantastic. Let's see, my Master Engineer flees from panic and runs. And yeah, I do a single freaking wound. I'm just going to leave it at that. So, High Elf turn 6, his BSB charges Captus. Again, I think I'm going to die. And I die. And there's the end of the game. His Star Dragon couldn't really do much to my Steam Tank. I think he did a wound or 2. It just didn't matter. Steam Tank epically failed. So, at the end of it, yeah, the High Elves win, but this was bloody. I mean, all he has left is his BSB, his Star Dragon, which is a lot of points. And according to the rules of this tournament, he gets full points for Star Dragon and his Lord, which I think is just utterly stupid. And he's got both Phoenixes. I've got a Fleeing Master Engineer, a level 1, and a Steam Tank. So, epic loss. I don't know, it wasn't an epic loss. It was actually just a really bloody game. Not a lot left on the table. A real fun one. I was commiserating pretty hard on bad dice rolling, but I think that's what we all say when we lose a game. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.